في ساحة للعلم كنا نلتقي والحب والإخلاص زاد قلوبنا.
Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back, guys, to another explosive, exciting, dynamic Qurtuba Online show hosted by me, your presenter, Mr. K from the QOA Institute. Guys, we're shooting here live from our studios here at the Qurtuba Online Academy, your first choice in online education. Guys, let's get started. Now, grade 12s, we've been talking about this is probably episode 10 out of 16. And remember, we are preparing you now for the final exams. We're doing a topic today where obviously majority, I would say 90% of all matriculants battle with this topic, right? We're starting with trigonometry and it's been introduced to you from grade 10 already. I'm going to start with the rules and we're going to go through it item for item, topic for topic. In fact, it's such an exciting episode today, guys. I'm actually using the Limpopo past paper, right? I'm using the June 2022 Limpopo paper. We're going to work through some of these models. Plus, I'm going to give you some added examples to the episode. So, guys, we've got 3 segments today. This is part 1 out of the 3. I hope you guys are enjoying the show. You guys like the show. Please go through to the Hilaal TV website or on YouTube, on the YouTube handle. Click on Hilaal TV. You'll see Qurtuba Online Math Rescue Program and you'll get all our previous episodes. So if you've missed any of the previous episodes, don't stress. Okay, guys, let's get started here. We're talking about trigonometry, grade 12. It accounts for, remember, this is paper 2, right? You all know that by now. This is paper 2. Grade 12s, you know that. It's 50. It accounts for a third. 50 out of 150 is a third of your paper is trigonometry. Let's give you a quick breakdown. On how we're going to master maths paper 2 in your final exams 2022. Right. So number 1, remember, you're going to get data handling, right? Statistics, which we're still going to do in another episode. So we're going to have your data handling. That would be probably plus minus about 20 marks. Right. Then you're going to get your analytics and circle analytics, another 40 marks. That gives you 60. You're going to have your trigonometry, which is another 50. And then another 40 to 50 marks, you're going to have your Euclidean geometry, which is still coming up. Similarity and proportionality, which will be coming up in our forthcoming episodes. So Euclidean geometry, another 40 to 50 marks. Let's call it 40 marks. We're looking here at, and there we go. There's your 150 marks. So analytics and your circle analytics, I've just combined it under one topic for 40 marks. 20 marks for analytics, 20 marks for circle analytics. And that gives you your total of 40 marks. So guys, 4 big topics. 4 big topics for your grade 12. Let's get started. We're starting with trigonometry, grade 12. These are all the topics. Take it down. You need to know trig substitution, where you draw a triangle. They give you a Cartesian plane. We're going to do some examples of that. Reduction, where we're going to be using special angles. General solution, where you're solving for x and giving your general solution. Trig identities, where you're proving left-hand side equal to right-hand side. Non-90 degree triangles, very important. Your area rule, your sine rule, and your cos rule. So let's get cracking, guys, with the grade 12. I hope you've taken all this down. I hope you've got your QOA and Qurtuba Online file open in front of you with your scientific calculators. Let's get started with trigonometry for 2023, grade 12. Now we're going to start off with rules like we always start. We start off with an overview. That's our mind map. These are all the topics that we need to know. And now let's get cracking with the rules. So let's clear that. And let's start with the rules. Now for grade 12, those topics you know, you've been introduced to it from grade 11 already, the one on the previous screen, right? So from grade 11 to grade 12, the topics are still the same. The only difference in grade 12 is that you are introduced to the compound and double angle. So let's write the compound angle here. Let's go through the rules here, guys. I know you know it. I know you've got it on your formula sheet, but I'm going to train you. I'm going to teach you in today's episode on how to remember it mentally without looking at your formula sheet and then applying it in your exam. Okay, so we start with the compound angles and then we've got the double angle. Now, what does the word compound mean? If I tell you that you're compounding to my headache, what do I mean? Huh? What do I mean if I say you compounding to something? You adding to it. Right? You adding to my stress. You adding to my headache. So compound means whenever you adding or subtracting to an angle. Like this. So we're going to have two. We got the sine compound angle. Two angles. A plus B. And then we've got cos A plus B. That's your compound angle, guys. Take this down. Now I'm going to teach you how to remember it. Sine of a compound angle. Please, this is not algebra. So those of you who are doing it now or doing math after a long time, you're probably looking at this and saying, oh, okay, this is easy. It's going to equal to sine A. We just distribute sine times A sine A plus sine times B sine B. Wrong. Wrong. You're not going to get the same answer. That's why we have these sets of rules to help you to break up a compound or double angle. So let's get started with sine A plus B. Whenever you see sine of a compound angle, you write it like this. Sine cos, cos sine, and the sine stays the same. S for sine, S-I-N-E, and S for the sine in the middle stays the same. Right? So S for sine, S for the sine stays the same. So just help you to remember S, S, S. You guys do English, you do alliteration. All right, you know your figures of speech in English, where it's the constant repetition of certain letters of the alphabet, and that's the same thing here. So when you're breaking up sine of a compound angle, write it exactly the way you say it, right? So that we can all use exactly the same system. Sine cos, cos sine, the sine stays the same. Let's say it again. Sine of a compound angle, say it with me, even adults, if you're sitting there at home. Sine of a compound angle, sine cos, cos sine, the sine stays the same. Say it again. Sine of a compound angle. Sine cos, cos sine, the sine stays the same. Last time. Sine of a compound angle. Sine cos, cos sine, the sine stays the same. Right. Please, guys, if you guys meet me in the streets, I know, or you meet me at a mall or shopping mall on a weekend or whatever, don't come up. Greet me as Mr. K. Don't come to me and say, Assalamu alaikum, sine cos, cos sine, the sine stays the same. Please, don't remember me for that. Remember me for my name. Let's go. So, here we go. Sine of a compound angle, sine cos. Now you put in AB, and the sine stays the same. The same would apply for, so that's your answer. Sine cos, cos sine, the sine stays the same, and you put it in exactly the same order. AB, AB. The same would happen if it was sine A minus B. Whenever you see two angles being subtracted from each other, let's do it again. Do it with me. Sine cos, cos sine, and the sine stays the same. So we're going to put AB, AB, and then we're going to put a minus. So that is the sine compound angle. So like I said, you get two compound angles. One for the sine, one for sine, and one for cos. Now cos, so this one is sine, cos, cos, sine. The sine stays the same. Now for cos, you write it like this. You say cos, cos, sine, sine. And C for cos, C for change. C for cos, C for change. The sign changes. Now you put in AB, AB. So cos of a compound angle would be, let's all say it together, cos, cos, sine, sine, and the sign changes. Let's do it again. Cos, cos, sine, sine, and C for cos, C for change. Let's go through it again. Let's see if you know. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. I'm going to ask you now for sine of a compound angle. So when I say sine of a compound angle, you must close your eyes and you must say sine, cos, cos, sine. The sine stays the same. When I say cos of a compound angle, you must close your eyes and you must say cos, cos, sine, sine, and the sign changes. Let's see if you can do it. Right, close your eyes. Let's do a small experiment. Close your eyes. Eyes closed. Let's go. Sine of a compound angle. Sine, cos, cos, sine. The sign stays the same. Cos of a compound angle. Cos, cos, sine, sine, and the sign changes. Very good. Cos, cos, sine, sine, or sine, cos, cos, sine. I know it can get a little bit tricky on the tongue. Get used to it. Your tongue, it will become very fluent. You'll know exactly what to do when we are applying. You'll see when I start applying it now to the past paper. Whenever you see a situation like that, that's the way you break it up. Put in your alphabet, put in your values, and use your calculator. Right, let's go. Double angles. Now, compound is when you're adding or subtracting. Double is 2 times an angle. So you get sine 2 times an angle. 2a, and you get cos 2a. Now sine 2a, double angle. Double means 2 times. There's it, 2 times an angle. So sine 2a can only be broken up in one way, and this is the way I want you to remember it. You must tell yourself, sine 2a can only be broken up in one way. 2 sine a cos a. So whenever you see this, you break it up into 2 sine a cos a. But only for sine. Sine 2a, 2 sine a cos a. But cos 2a can be broken up in 3 ways. Cos squared a minus sine squared a. You have to remember this. Or if you only want it in terms of cos, then you can say 2 cos squared a minus 1. There's no sine in here. Or if you only want it in terms of sine, 1 minus 2 sine squared a. There's no cos in here. Right? So whenever you see cos of a double angle, it can be broken up in 3 different ways. Your problem will tell you which one to use. You'll see when we do examples how we start unpacking it. Let's go through this again quickly, guys. Sine of a compound angle, sine cos, cos sine. The sine stays the same. Cos of a compound angle, cos cos, sine sine. C for cos, C for change. We good? We good. Double angle. Sine 2a can only be broken up in how many ways? One way. Sine 2a can only be broken up in one way. What is that? 2 sine a cos a. But cos 2a can be broken up in how many different ways? 3 ways. Cos squared a minus sine squared a. Not sine squared plus cos squared. That's 1 from last year, grade 11. So cos squared minus sine squared a, or 2 cos squared a minus 1, or 1 minus 2 sine squared a. And here we go. These are your rules for the compound and double, which will be integrated in all the topics that I gave you in the beginning of today's session. So let's get started. I'm going straight now to a past paper. Let's go to the past paper here. It's this year's paper. I'm going to delete here. I hope you've taken all this down. We're going to be referring to this. As we do our calculations. So now they give you, let's start with that first topic that I gave you on our mind map, trig substitution. Right? Where we're going to draw, where we're given a Cartesian plane. So let's draw a Cartesian plane. They give you that. They give you a Cartesian plane. They give you this here. They give you what we call another word for this arm. Who knows what is this arm called? Some of you just call it a line. It's not called a line. It's called a terminal arm. It's called a terminal arm, or another word for terminal arm is a terminal ray. I don't even know whether you guys have been taught this or been told this at school. It's called a terminal arm. That's your y-axis. That's your x-axis. That's your angle. And this angle here is angle theta. Right? This here is just a line. It's a terminal arm. Terminal means that it ends, so it's terminating. And it's an arm, so it's stretched out. From there, that's the center. That's your origin. From there to there, that's your terminal arm. They call that point P. They love these questions in your exam. And they tell you in the diagram, P is -4 and -3. Right, answer the questions based on this diagram. So question number one, they want you to find OP. Question number 2, tan 180 minus theta. Tan 180 minus theta. Number 3, sine 2 theta. There's your double angle. That's reduction. And then cos of theta over 2. And this is cos of a half theta. This is half an angle. I don't even know whether your teachers at school have shown you the half angle. I'm going to teach you today. So we're going to do the double angle, which I showed you, the compound angle. I will even show you 3 times an angle, 4 times an angle, even half an angle. And here the half an angle has been done for you here. It has been asked. In terms of mark allocation, 2, 3, 4, 4. So let's put some mark allocations here. 2 marks, 3 marks, 4 marks, 4 marks. 4 and 4, 8 and 3, 11, 12, 13 marks. 13 marks on this question, guys. Please, you have to know this for your exam. You're definitely going to get a diagram. You're definitely going to get a Cartesian plane with a terminal arm. You need to construct your triangle and use your SOHCAHTOA if it's 90 degrees, or the sine rule or the cos rule if it's not 90 degrees. So obviously this will be a 90-degree triangle. Let's start answering. I just want to find out control room before break, before our ad break. How much time do we have left? We've got 8 minutes. Let's see within 8 minutes. Guys, you don't need to wait for me. I'm doing this for the benefit of everybody. Once you got it, you can start working with it already to see how many marks you got out of 13. So let's get started, guys. Whenever you drop your perpendicular, you always drop your 90 degrees not against your y-axis. You always drop it against your x-axis. That's your x value. That's your y value. So your y is -3 and your x value is -4. Right, so there we go. We put in our coordinates. That distance, that x value there is -4. This y distance here is -3. Now you know by Pythagoras to finish this up. That's your hypotenuse. H, your hypotenuse. You know if this is 3, this is 4, your hypotenuse must be 5. Right? You know h squared is equal to -3 squared plus -4 squared. So h squared, that's the theorem of Pythagoras, that would be 9 plus 16. So h squared is equal to 25. Therefore, h is equal to the square root of 25, which is 5. That's how we get our 5. Now, this is also called Pythagorean triplet. Have you ever come across those terms before? A Pythagorean triplet. If the one side is 3 in a 90-degree triangle, if the one side is 3, the other one is 4, the hypotenuse must be 5. It's a triplet. They've come up with this because these are the most commonly used ones. Let me show you some other ones to help you along the way, guys. Let me show you some other ones to help you. Can I give you some other, before we get to this, let me show you some Pythagorean triplets. Right. Let's put it here. Triplets. Here we go. Right, so if we've got the camera here, we all here, we all good. Cameraman, we all good there. Lovely. So the first one is 3. If the one side is 3, the other side is 4, your hypotenuse will always be 5. Who can tell me, can you think of any other Pythagorean triplets? So it helps you in your calculation. You don't actually need to work through your calculator. You can just memorize them. 3, 4, and the hypotenuse will be 5. How about 5, 12, 13? There we go. There's another one. If the one side is 5, the other side is 12, your hypotenuse must be 13. Why? 5 squared is 25. 12 squared is 144. 144 plus 25 is 169. And the square root of 169 is 13. So there we go. 3, 4, 5, 5, 12, 13. Any other one that you can think of? Yes. How about 6, 8, 10? 6, 8, 10. There we go. There's another one. 6 squared is 36. 8 squared is 64. 64 plus 36 is 100. Square root of 100 is 10. And there's another one. So these are good to know. These are good to know. They're the most commonly used ones. So why need a calculator? That, you know, if you see a 3, you see a 4, your hypotenuse must be 5. It's just for your added information. Okay, so we still haven't yet started answering our questions here. So let's go. OP, they want OP. OP is 5. That's actually our first question. Let's answer question number 1. OP. So we're going to start with Pythagoras. OP squared is equal to -3 squared plus -4 squared. OP squared is equal to, this is Pythagoras. I'm using Pythagoras. So 9 plus 16. There's it. There we go. That's it. So OP squared is equal to 25. Therefore, OP is equal to the square root of 25. And that's 5. And there's your first 2 marks, guys. Your first 2 marks, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay. We're done with the first question. Go to the next one. Tan 180 minus theta. Let's see if you can answer the second one. Let's see if you can answer the second one. Tan 180 minus theta. Number 2. Question number 2. Let's do it in black. Question number 2. Tan 180 minus theta. And what do we get there? Now this is reduction. You know tan 180, the name will stay. Tan theta. 180 minus. 180 minus is in your second quadrant. Tan in your second quadrant is negative. So you got minus tan theta. Minus. Now what is tan? According to SOHCAHTOA, what is tan? Opposite over adjacent. So remember, if this is your reference angle, that's your opposite, that's your hypotenuse, that's your adjacent. So your opposite over adjacent is -3 over -4. So here goes -3 over -4. That would be minus into 3 over 4. And that's your final answer, -3 over 4. Sine 180 minus theta. And there we go, guys. We've answered question number 2. Easy. This here was shown to you in grade 11 already. SOHCAHTOA was shown to you in grade 10. Right? Sine opposite over hypotenuse, cos adjacent over hypotenuse, tan, sine, cos, tan. Tan is opposite over adjacent. You guys remember SOHCAHTOA? Viewers, parents sitting at home, do you remember SOHCAHTOA from school? Oh hell, another hour of algebra. And then you just put sine, cos, and tan. Right? Different ways to remember it. But if you know that whenever we're solving a 90-degree triangle in mathematics, we always, in trigonometry, we always use SOHCAHTOA, sine, cos, and tan. Okay, let's see. We've got now sine 2 theta. How many minutes we got left? Okay, we've got 4 minutes left. Let's do sine 2 theta. I'm done with that. Let's do this last one before break. Then I'm going to give you, then we're going to cut for an ad break. After the ad break, we're going to come back and we're going to do cos of theta over 2. And I want to see, matriculants, if you are fully geared up for the final exams, by now you should know how to do cos theta over 2. Okay, if you don't know, just stay tuned to the program. I will show you exactly how it is done. So let's go to our next one here. Question number 3. Let's go on to question number 3. And question number 3 says sine 2 theta, right? So let's go here. Question number 3, sine 2 theta. So this is a double angle. Sine 2a, sine 2 theta, sine 2x. Remember what the rules that I gave you at the beginning of the episode? Sine 2a can only be broken up in how many ways? Go back to the notes. Sine 2a, when we did the rules at the beginning of today's episode, sine 2a can only be broken up in one way. 2 sine A, so 2 sine theta, cos theta. There we go. That's where we use the double angle. Now, 2. What is sine theta? According to SOHCAHTOA, sine opposite over hypotenuse, -3 over 5. Multiply by cos theta. According to SOHCAHTOA, cos is adjacent over hypotenuse. Adjacent over hypotenuse, -4 over 5. Let's work this out. That's over 1. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 4 is 24 over. 1 times 5 is 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Negative times negative is a positive. And there we go. That's your final answer. You got yourself another 4 marks. So 2 and 3 is 5. 5 and 4 is 9. You've got 9 marks for this so far out of the 13. But the big one is the last one. I want to see how sharp are you guys. Let's see who gets the last one right. I want to see if you guys can get the last one right. Let's just do it in a different color. That one there, that's the one I'm talking about. Cos of a half, that's 1. So 1 over 2, so a half an angle. Cos of half theta, or theta over 2 is the same as a half a theta. Okay, guys, we're going to be cutting for an ad break now. I hope you guys thoroughly enjoyed the first segment of the show. We're cutting for ad break now. I'll see you guys immediately after the ad break. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to our second segment of today's bumper episode brought to you by Qurtuba Online Academy and me, your host and presenter, Mr. K, Mr. Kota from the QOA Institute here in Johannesburg, South Africa. Guys, let's get started. I left you before the break with this question here. Let's see how many of you were sharp enough to get the answer to this one. Cos half theta, cos theta over 2. Now, whenever you see this, I want you to start off with 2 times the angle. So 2 times a half, we know that 2 times a half is equal to 1. So let's start off here. In your answer, that's your question. In your answer, I want you to start off with cos of 1 theta. Right? We're starting off with 2 times this angle. So cos theta is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, which is -4 over 5. So cos theta is equal to -4 over 5. Now, how will I get a half theta from 1 theta? This is going to be cos 2 times a half theta is equal to -4 over 5. So, guys, that's your starting block. You start off with cos of 2 times half the angle, which is 1. So we know cos theta from here is -4. That's your adjacent over your hypotenuse. So now we break it up into a double angle. Because remember, the question wants half theta, not theta. So you're going to say cos 2 times a half. And I showed you that 2 times a half is 1. So cos 2 times a half theta will give me cos 1 theta. Now, this is your double angle. Cos 2 times a half. This is your double angle. Right. Now, which of your cos double angles have only got cos in it? So it's going to be, remember from our rules, 2 cos squared theta over 2 minus 1. Remember, your cos double angle is cos 2a. Let's say this was a. Cos 2a is 2 cos squared a minus 1. So cos 2 half theta is 2 cos squared half theta minus 1 is equal to minus 4 over 5. And all we have to do now is make cos half theta the subject of the formula. So now let's do some algebra. The minus 1 will go on the other side. So we got 2 cos squared theta over 2 is equal to minus 4 over 5 plus 1. So plus 5 over 5. That would be 1 over 5. Divide by 2, divide by 2. So cos squared theta over 2 is equal to, divide by 2 is 1 over 10. And I only want cos theta over 2. Remember, that's what the question wants. Only cos theta over 2. Find the square root, find the square root. So cos theta over 2 is equal to, the square root of 1 is 1 over the square root of 10 will remain square root of 10 or root 10. So there's your final answer. Cos theta over 2 is equal to 1 over root 10. Please, guys, I beg you, learn this. Know it for your final exams. Right. So whenever you get half an angle, you start with cos of 2 times the angle, and then you make cos half the angle the subject of the formula right through until you get to your final answer. Please take this one down, write it, learn it, practice on it until you are fully fluent and until you can do this in your final exam. This brings us to the end of question number 1 from this past paper. Let's now go on to question number 2 and let's see what question number 2 holds for us. So I'm working off my cell phone here and we've got if 12 cos theta, okay, let's clear the screen again. Let's put it here. If cos 12 theta, sorry, take this one down. If cos 12 degrees, sorry, is equal to P, find the following without the use of the calculator. Find the value of the following, no calculator to be allowed. Okay, so what do they want? Question number 1, cos of -12. Question number 2, cos 156. Question number 3, tan 372. And question number 4, cos 72 degrees. Right, mark allocation. Let's go to mark. Take this one down. You know you're going to see this in your exam. You know you need to master this. 2, 4, 3, 4. 2, 4, 3, 4. How many marks is this? 4 and 3 is 7 and 4 is 11, 12, 13 marks on this again. 13 marks on this question again. This is one question, just broken up into 4 parts. That's your question. All this here is your question, right? So now let's see, where do we start answering? Now, I'm going to teach you a method of doing this. What you need to do is draw up. In the previous one, your Cartesian plane was given. Here, you got to draw up your Cartesian plane. So let's draw our Cartesian plane. The first thing we want to do is put this in standard form. So P, we know, is P over 1. And we know for cos, according to SOHCAHTOA, is adjacent over hypotenuse. So that's the first thing. Step number 1, put it into standard form. Step number 2, draw your Cartesian plane. So let's draw our Cartesian plane. There's our Cartesian plane. Step number 3, look at your restriction. Are any restrictions given? No restrictions are given. They don't tell us in which quadrant to draw it. So if no restriction is given, just draw your triangle in quadrant number 1, cos 12 degrees, cos adjacent over hypotenuse, P over 1. And step number 4, use Pythagoras to finish it. So here we go. We can develop an acronym from here, guys. SCRP. So let's make it SCRAP. Let's call it scrap. Standard form, Cartesian plane, restriction, A just for and, P for Pythagoras. And there we go. If you can remember scrap, whenever you need to draw a Cartesian plane, just remember this mental process called scrap. Standard form, put it into standard form and SOHCAHTOA. S for scrap, S in scrap, would stand for SOHCAHTOA or in standard form. C, what does a C from scrap stand for? Cartesian plane. There we go. R, restriction. Are any restrictions given? No. So we draw it in our quadrant, first quadrant. And then we use Pythagoras to finish it. Now, Pythagoras to finish it, by now you all know 1 squared, let's just do it here. 1 squared is equal to P squared plus, let's call this Y, plus Y squared. So 1 minus P squared is equal to Y squared. Y is equal to plus or minus the square root of 1 minus P squared. So obviously this is the positive, so that would be the positive, the square root of 1 minus P squared. And there we go. That is the square root of 1 minus P squared. So I've got this side, I've got that side, and I've got this side here. Now we can start answering the question. Let's answer question number 1. Cos negative 12. Now that's a negative angle. What do we know about cos of a negative angle? Does it ever exist? No. The negative falls away. So you're just left with cos 12. The negative falls away. Sine of a negative angle minus sine of the angle. Tan of a negative angle minus tan of the angle. Cos of a negative angle, the negative falls away. Why? Because a negative angle doesn't exist in the world of cos. 0 plus positive angle, cos is positive. 0 minus fourth quadrant, cos is positive there as well. So the negative falls away. So what is cos 12? Cos 12 is equal to P. They say they want your answers in terms of P. So your answer is just P. Why? Because cos 12 is equal to P. There we go. That's your first question. Answered. Just use the diagram to answer all these questions. So there we done. We got our first 2 marks. Right. Let's go on to the next question, guys. Let's go on to the next question. Question number 2. Right. So let's go to question number 2. Question number 2 says cos 156. Now what is the relationship between 156 and 12? So let's go cos 180 minus. 180 minus how much will be 156? I think it's 24, right? 180 minus 156, that's your quadrant. 180 minus 156 is 24. Now we know cos 180, the name will stay, cos 24. Remember 180 and 360. You know your horizontal line on your Cartesian plane? Your 180 and 360, the name stays. The 90 and 270, the vertical line, the name changes. To what does it change? Yes, you know, it changes to the co-function. Sine will change to cos, or cos will change to sine. Okay, so now we got cos 24. Now, they told you cos 12. So this is your double angle. So this is going to be cos 2 times 12, which is equal to 2 cos squared 12 minus 1. This is your double angle. And we know cos 12 is P. So your answer would be 2P squared minus 1. And that's your final answer. That is your final answer. Let's take all of this out here on the side. And there we go. Take this one down. So we're done with the second one as well, guys. We're done with the second one as well. We're now going to go on to cos 372. Let's just double check there. Cos 372. Yes. Tan 372. Sorry. We're doing question number 3. Tan 372. So come, start with that one already. Don't wait for me. Do number 3. Do number 3. I'm just erasing all of this. Takes a little bit of while before we can color in everything that we need, that needs to be erased here. Let's see if we can get it all one shot, all out. Yay. There we go. Right. Number 3. Number 3. Tan 172. Let's change the color. Tan 372. Tan 372. Now, how am I going to get a 12 and a quadrant in here? So that's going to be tan. We all know this is going to be 360 plus 12. Excuse me. Tan 360 plus 12. Right, let's go. Tan 360, the name will stay the same. So we're going to be left with tan 12. 360 plus. 360 plus is in my first quadrant. Tan in my first quadrant is positive. Now we know according to SOHCAHTOA, tan is opposite over adjacent. So what is my opposite here? What's my opposite? What's my adjacent? Opposite over adjacent. So it's the square root of 1 minus p squared over p. And there we go. We're done. So we did the first one. We did the second one. We did the third one. Let's see if you can do cos 72 on your own. So what do we have? That's an interesting one. That's an interesting one, and that's why it's worth 4 marks. How are you going to get a quadrant and 12 to give you 72? Or how are you going to get a special angle and 12 to give you? I think I've just given you the answer. Right? I think I've just given you the answer. Think about it. Think about it. Let's do question number 4. Come grade 12s. You should be knowing this by now. You should be a master, a mamu, machine in it by now. You should know all this work. It's ready for you for your final exams. You know it's up for the take. Let's do number 4. Cos 72. Now I can't say 90 minus 18. 90 minus 18 will give me 72, but there's no relationship between 18 and 12. So I can't use 90 minus. The only thing I can use here is cos 60 degrees plus 12. Now 60, why did I use 60? Because 60 is our special angle, and that's our compound angle. So sine of a compound, cos of a compound angle, cos. Remember we sang the song in the beginning of the first episode, or the first segment of today's episode. If you missed it, no stress. Go to Hilaal TV tomorrow morning, or whenever it's ready. It's up the next day. Go to Hilaal TV, watch the Qurtuba Online Math Rescue Program. Watch the first segment. Don't worry, you won't lose out on anything. Replay this over and over and over until you master all these concepts. Okay, but grade 12s, you know what I'm talking about. So I'm picking up the pace. So cos 60 plus 12, cos, sine, 60, 12, 60, 12. And for cos, that's the same. Remember we said sine of a compound angle, sine, cos, sine. The sine stays the same. Cos of a compound angle, cos, sine. The sine, C for cos, C for change. The middle number changes. So change the sign. Minus. Positive becomes negative. What is cos 60? It's a special angle. Root 3, no, it's a half. So confident. Cos 60 is a half. Cos 12 is p, so it's a half times p. Minus sine 60 is root 3 over 2. And sine 12, sine opposite over hypotenuse, the square root of 1 minus p squared. Now they're both over 2. What you could do is you could say p minus root 3 root 1 minus p squared all over, because they're both over the same denominator, 2. And that is your final answer. And that's your cos 72. So there we go. Like I told you, trigs is easy. You just need to know what you are doing, obviously. Learn your rules, apply the rules, master what I've taught you, practice on it. It's the same. It looks the same through all your past papers. So master it. It's an easy topic. I love trigs. In fact, trigs for me is my favorite topic in math. All right. So there we go. And we're done with question number 2. So you got, I think, 13 marks. And 13 marks, that gave you how much? 46 marks. Let's go back to our past paper. Now we got some reduction. We got some interesting questions. The balance, remember this component was 47 marks, guys. Was 47 marks. We only got 26 out of 47 so far. Okay, so let's clear up here. Let's clear that. I hope you got all this down, and I hope you're enjoying today's show. Okay, please, guys, go to Hilaal TV. You'll find their email address. Click the link. Send them an email. You're enjoying the show. You want more of these shows as it comes closer to the exams. And also, if you got grade 10s, inshallah, for next year, we hope to start doing from grade 7 right up to grade 12. From grade 7 to up to grade 12. So stay tuned. Stay online with our program. Keep posted on social media. Check out what we have. Contact Hilaal TV. Let us know exactly how it's going. Okay. Let's start with the next one. Simplify the following without the use of a calculator. Interesting scenario. 2 sine 75. Grade 12s, you're going to start loving it now because these are all your exam questions. 275 cos 105 all over cos 45 minus 2x. 45 minus 2x. Cos 2x minus sine 45 minus 2x, sine 45 minus 2x, and sine 2x. Right, let's go through this. For how many marks? For 6 marks, guys. That's a 2. And that's worth 6 marks. What does the question want you to do? Remember, I'm not working from a memo. I'm doing it with you as if we are attacking the final exam. Right, I haven't prepped for it. Right, this is totally unscripted. I just got the questions here. As we got the questions, I'm just taking it. In fact, I pulled out these questions 5 minutes before the show. Right, so I just looked at the question and said, okay, yeah, good to do in the show. Right, so let's do it. Because obviously I want you to understand how it's done. If I came with the whole scripted thing and just spoke about it, you wouldn't understand what we're doing. I'm showing you and I'm thinking out aloud, step by step, how we're going through this. Sure, I talk a lot. I need to start. Can I keep quiet and do this one? Right, let me get my breath back. Let's go. Number 2. Right. So now we got 2 sine 75 cos 105. I'm looking at something interesting that's happening here. So let's study this problem before we start it, right? So I'm doing it with you as if we are seeing it for the first time in our exams, right? So let's study the problem. So we got 2 sine 75 cos 105. We know 75, 90 minus 15. And we know 105 is 90 plus 15. So we got a 19 and we got a 15 degrees that we are playing with. We're playing with two angles, the 90-degree angle and the 15-degree angle. Let's see here. Now, please don't look at this as a compound angle. I want you to pick up. Some of you are going to start expanding this. Don't do it. It's wrong. Don't start expanding. When you see it expanded, you want to reduce. And when you see it reduced, you want to expand. That's the nature of this game. Okay, so let's start. Husa. Let's go. Deep breath. 2 sine 75. I'm going to go 90 minus 15, right? Cos 90 plus 15, right? Cameraman, you guys following? Control room. Even control room is learning maths here today. They're loving it. They're just giving me the thumbs up because it's bringing back all their memories from when they did math at school. Right? All over. Right, now watch here. Watch here. You got cos, sine. You got 45 minus 2x, 45. So it's the same angles. So basically cos, sine is your cos compound angle. And your cos compound angle is 45 minus 2x. That's your first angle. And remember, we had to change the middle sign. Plus 2x. Beautiful. I already see it. Do you guys see it coming? Grade 12s, do you see it happening? You see the magic happening? You know where we're going to? I hope so. Right. Let's go. 2. There's the 2. Sine 90 will change to cos 15. Cos 90 will change to sine 15. But be careful, there's a catch here. 90 plus is in my second quadrant. Cos in my second quadrant is negative. All over. Cos. Minus 2x plus 2x will cancel. 45. And that's a special angle. So this can be rewritten as minus 2 sine 15 cos 15. Doesn't that ring a bell? Your double angle for sine. Over cos 45, we know is square root 2 over 2. That's your special angle. Okay, we're not yet done. So this is equal to minus. Now, 2 sine 15 cos 15 is your double angle for sine. So this is minus sine 2 times 15 all over root 2 over 2. So that's it, right? Over 2 sine 15 cos 15 all over root 2 over 2. This is equal to times 2 over root 2 times 2 over root 2. Okay, wait, let's first sort this out. Minus, this would be sine 30. Right? 2 times 15 is sine 30 all over root 2 over 2. I'm going to move over to the side because of space. This is equal to minus sine 30, your special angle, half. divided by root 2 over 2. So you got minus a half times 2 over root 2. We multiply it by its reciprocal times 2 over root 2 times 2 over root 2. What am I left with? 2 and 2 cancels. My answer is minus 1 over root 2. And there we go. We don't think we're right. We know we're right. We don't think we're right. We know we're right. Because your double angles are in here. Your compound angles are in here. Your double angle here. This was your compound angle for cos. This was your double angle for sine. That was your special angle. So it's a loaded question. It's a loaded question. And there you know you're going to get 6 marks for this. Okay, take it down. I hope you're enjoying the show, guys. Stay focused. Stay focused. I know I talk a lot. Break it up into segments. Don't listen to me one shot. You'll go mad. You'll lose your mind, right? Right. Take it in parts. It's a show. I've got to do it. I've got to speak non-stop to the camera for 30 minutes or 1.5 hours non-stop. I don't have an audience. You, my audience. I'm making all this thing. I must be seriously messed up to have this whole show planned out in my head and just continue talking for 1.5 hours. Well, that's the effects of math over a period of 20 years. Okay, we don't expect math people to be normal people. All right. Yusuf, you are following. Control room, we all good. How much time do we have before our next segment? We only got 3 minutes left. Wow, this segment flew. Let's go. Okay, so before we go into our next ad break, look how time is flying, guys. Look how time is flying. I just started. Before I know it, 30 minutes is up. And then I'm already getting the bang on the window. Hey, cut, ad break, guys. Right. Hope you guys loving the show as much as we're enjoying it here in class. I'm going to give you a problem now before break. Grade 12s, I'm giving you a problem before break, before our ad break. We come back, we're going to work out the memo. Let's check. Right. Next one. Sine 360 minus x. Simplify without the use of a calculator. Sine 360 minus x. Cos 17. Interesting. Times 1 minus cos squared. That's 17. Times 1 minus cos squared. X. All over. Again, I'm telling you, I don't have a memo here. There's it. You can see. I'm just working through the questions. We're going to be working through it together. Over cos. So let me just double check sine. That's correct. That's correct. We now have cos 360 plus x. Take it down with me. Times tan of negative x. Times tan of negative x. Times sine 73. Interesting. Times cos 90 minus 2x times cos 90 minus 2x. How many marks was this question? Wow! 9 marks, guys. 9 marks. This is solid. Solid. Let's see. I know we're going to get the final answer. I mean, I've got no doubt in my mind we're going to get the final answer. Right. Let me read it out for you quickly before we cut for ad break. Sine 360 minus x times cos 17 into 1 minus cos squared x all over cos 360 plus x tan negative x times sine 73 degrees, that's degrees, and cos 90 minus 2x for 9 marks, guys. 9 marks. We're cutting for ad break. Stay tuned to the Qurtuba Online program. I'm Mr. K, QOA Institute. I see you guys immediately after the break. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to the Qurtuba Online Show. Last and final segment for today's episode. Hope you guys, I left you guys with a question before exams, or before the ad break, sorry. And let's see whether you got the answer. I left you guys with a 9-mark question. Guys, like I said, if you missed the previous episodes or the previous segment, don't stress. Go to Hilaal TV on YouTube. Just click in Qurtuba. You'll see on the Hilaal TV handle, you'll see Qurtuba Online Math Rescue. Click on that. All the previous episodes are all uploaded. So don't stress. Don't panic. I'm here to make sure that you are prepared for your final exams. Guys, I know it's a lot of work. However, just stay focused. Bear with me. Hang in there. We're going to be completing the entire year syllabus. After this, remember in all our episodes, what have we done before? We've already done sequences and series. We've done the whole of calculus. We've done the whole of functions. We've done analytics. We've done circle analytics. We're now busy with trigonometry. We're going to finish the trigs. Then I think the only thing that we've got is data handling. We've got data handling. We've got Euclidean. And then we've got probability. In fact, we even completed the probability, the factorial and fundamental counting principle. We've also done the entire finance from paper 1. So there isn't much to go. Guys, we've got a few more episodes to go and we're done with the entire grade 12 syllabus over 16 episodes. Remember, we got a live show. We got a live show coming up next week, Tuesday, from 9:30 to 11 o'clock. Get all your questions ready. We'll be sending up on the screen a WhatsApp number. You can take photos of your questions, send it up on WhatsApp, and we're going to have so much of fun. The next two Tuesdays from 9:30 to 11 are going to be our 2 live shows. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be lots of fun. Okay, enough chit chat. Let's get started with math. Okay, now like I said, I'm not working through a memo. We're all doing this together. Bismillah. Let's see where we begin. Sine 3. Now, this is all a whole lot of reduction in here, guys. There's a whole lot of reduction. You got reduction. You got a non-special angle. You've got an identity from grade 11. You got reduction. You've got a negative angle. Again, there's a relationship between these two. And then we've got a reduction and we've got cos 2x. We've got a 2x there. That means we've got a double angle also integrated in the problem. You need to pick this up when you're studying or you're analyzing your problem before we start. So let's start. Remember, we're going to do each component separately, guys. We're going to do this component, that component, that component, this component, that component, that, and that. Item for item, we're going to sort, and then we're going to simplify without the use of a calculator. Right, so sine 360 minus x. Sine 360 will be sine x. 360 minus is in my 4th quadrant. Sine is negative. You know that. A, S, T, C. You know the cast diagram. All positive, sine positive, everything else negative. Tan positive, everything else negative. Cos positive, everything else negative. Cos 17 times, we're going to leave that cos 17. Let's leave that as that. Multiplied by 1 minus cos squared. We all know is sine squared x from grade 11. Divided by cos 360 will remain cos x. 360 plus is in my 1st quadrant. Cos in my 1st quadrant is positive. Tan of a negative angle is minus tan of that angle. Remember in the previous question we had cos of a negative angle, right? But the negative fell away because you can't get cos of a negative angle. You can get minus cos of an angle, but you can't get cos of a negative angle. The negative just falls away. Okay, but tan of a negative angle or sine of a negative angle, bring the negative outside. Times sine 73. Now 73 would be 90 minus 17, am I right? And then cos 90 minus 2x, let's move over here. Let's do this. Cos 90 will change to sine 2x. 90 minus is in my 1st quadrant. Cos in my 1st quadrant is positive. Okay, let's go. Minus sine x times cos 17 times sine squared x. So I'm going to break it up into sine x times sine x, right? I'm just breaking up the sine squared x. All over. I'm left with cos x times minus tan x. We know is sine x over cos x. You know sine over cos to give you tan. Times sine 90 will change to cos 17. 90 minus is in my 1st quadrant. 90 minus is in my 1st quadrant. Sine in my 1st quadrant is positive. Times sine 2x. Right, now sine 2x. Sine 2x. We know is our double angle for sine. So it's 2 sine x cos x. Okay, this is where the fun begins. Negative divided by a negative is a positive. Cos 17 cancels out. Sin x and sin x cancels out. What am I left with? I'm left with sine times sine, which is sine squared x. So we've got sine x times sine x. That's the only thing that's left over. So we've got sine squared x over. I've got a 2 there. There's a 2. Then you've got cos x. Oh, wait. We've still got this. This cos x and that cos x will cancel out. That cos x and that cos x will cancel out. So I'm left with sine x. Am I right? Yes. We're left with the sine x here. We sorted out the 2 and then the cos x there. Okay, so the sine squared x is sine x times sine x. Right, I just broke that up. Now, that and that will cancel out. We are left with, that's a 1. So your answer will be a half. Sine x over cos x is tan x. And that would be your final answer. Let's check it again. Come, let's check it together. So I know this step is correct. Right? I know that step is correct. Negative divided by negative is a positive. So you got sine, the cos and the cos will cancel. Sine squared, sine times sine, that's correct. That's correct. Tan x sine x over cos x, that's correct. That's correct. And that is correct. Let us see what is cancelling out. Right, let's just do it in a different color here again. We're just double checking, guys. That and that will cancel out. That and that will cancel out. Okay, in fact, that and that can cancel out again, and then that and that will cancel out again. And the only thing we are left with, there's your sine x, and there's your 1 sine x on the top, right? And then you got a 2, there's your 2, and then you got your cos x at the bottom, and there's your cos x there. So and that is gone. And then we are left with a half sine over cos. A half sine over cos is tan. And we don't think we're right. We know we are right. Half 10x. And there we go for 9 marks, guys. For 9 marks. Step by step, item for item. Cancel what you can. Remember, you can only cancel if you're multiplying and dividing. If you're adding or subtracting, different system, different algebra altogether. And there we go. We are done. Okay. Let's give you an identity. So we've done substitution. We've done simplification and reduction. Let's give you a general solution to do. Let's give you a general solution to do. Now, guys, here you're going to have to pay attention very carefully. Right. What if I told you I want the general solution? So let's go here. Give the general solution. I'm going to move up here. They want the general solution. Now, grade 12s, you ought to know this work already. Let's just say 3 cos 2x minus sine 2x minus 1 equals to 0. For 8 marks. For 8 marks, they want the general solution. Now, you know general solution for sine is plus k times 360. Sine and cos, 360k, or k times 360, where k is an element of integers. Or for tan, plus k times 180. Because your sine and cos, your complete sine graph, your complete cos graph makes its appearance every 360 degrees. A complete tan graph makes its appearance every 180 degrees. Okay, now for those of you who are new to this, you'll have to ask a grade 12. They know exactly what we're talking about. Right, we don't have time in the show to go all the way back. A grade 12 wants to know right now, if I see a situation like this, how do I unpack it? How do I get a general solution or 2 general solutions for a total of 8 marks in my exams? So now we know, guys, we are sitting with a problem. We're sitting with a problem there. We're sitting with a problem here. And we're sitting with a problem here. So what you want to do, guys, is you want to make it a quadratic equation. You want to try your best to make it a quadratic, like x squared plus, let's just say plus 2xy plus y squared equals 0. That's where you want to get it. You want to get it to that form. And the only way you're going to get it to that form is if you start breaking it up. So if this is the question, let's see what are you going to do. Those of you who know it, you can start working with it already. Right. So we got a cos 2x, my double angle for cos, and we got our double angle for sine, and we got the number 1 in it. Right, I'm going to be writing this entire screen full, so you need to really be paying attention step by step right through until we get to our final answer. Please, this is very important. You need to know this for your exam. Let's start. So we got the 3. There's the 3. The cos squared x is going to be cos squared x, and the cos 2x is going to be cos squared x minus sine squared x. Double angle for cos minus sine 2x is 2 sine x cos x, right? Minus 1 into, you attach, because you've introduced sine squared and cos squared, now you need to get rid of the 1. So we attach to it sine squared x plus cos squared x equals to 0. Because sine squared plus cos squared from grade 11, you know, is 1. 1 times the whole number. It's not going to change anything. But we're just doing this to introduce sine squared and cos squared back into the problem so that we can get it back into a quadratic equation. All right, let's go. Let's do it step by step, item for item. Right? I think the question, I'm hoping the question is, I'm taking it out from memory. So let's go again. 3 times cos squared x is 3 cos squared x minus 3 sine squared x minus 2 sine x cos x minus sine squared x minus cos squared x is equal to 0. Now 3 cos squared x minus 1 cos squared x is 2 cos squared x minus 2 sine x cos x minus 3 sine squared x minus another 1 sine squared x is minus 4 sine squared x is equal to 0. Can you see we're getting it here to a quadratic equation? Let's divide everything here by 2 because we got a 2, we got a 2, we got a 4. So now I'm going to divide by 2. I'm going to divide everything by 2. So what am I left with? Cos squared x minus sine x cos x, that would be my middle term, minus 2 sine squared x is equal to 0 divided by 2 is 0. Let's break this up. So we're going to have cos x times cos x to give me cos squared x. So we're going to have minus 2 sine x plus 1 sine x. Yeah, it works. Because minus 2 sine x cos x plus 1 sine x cos x will give me my negative 1 sine x cos x here in the middle. That's my middle term. Okay, so here we go. We've got two factors equal to 0. So we're going to have cos x minus 2 sine x equal to 0. Or, remember it's a quadratic equation. What is it, guys? It's a quadratic equation. Or you're going to have on this side cos x plus sine x equal to 0. Right, now we need to get our two general solutions. Remember the question wants a general solution. Now you got one general solution for sine, you got one general solution for cos, and you got one general solution for tan. But you got a sine and a cos. So you want to convert the sine over cos to make it a tan. Okay, so let's go. Minus 2 sine x is equal to, I'm going to take this on the other side. I get minus cos x. Negative and a negative cancels out. Divide the side by cos x. What I do on the right, I do on the left. That and that will give me, that divided by that will be 1. Now divide by 2, divide by 2. So you're going to be left with sine x over cos x is equal to 1 over 2. Right? Sine x over cos x is 1 divided by 2. So sine over cos, you got tan x is equal to a half. So x will equal to, you use your shift key on your calculator, shift tan a half, you're going to get 26,56. Right? That's what your calculator will give you. But you must attach your general solution for 10 plus 180k, or k times 180, where k is an element of integers. That's your first solution. On the other side, don't forget your second solution. This was solution number 1. Solution number 2, you're now going to have sine x will equal to minus cos x. Divide by cos, you're going to be left with sine x over cos x will equal to minus 1. Sine over cos tan x is equal to minus 1. X will equal to shift tan minus 1 minus 45. That's a special angle plus k times 180, where k is an element of integers. And there we go, guys. You will get 8 marks for that. Control room, a whole lot of numbers there, my brother. So much of writing. Huh? This is what all the grade 12s need to know here. Only seeing numbers. Like we said the last time, to an untrained eye, this just looks like a whole board scribbled with numbers. But to a trained eye, this makes absolutely perfect sense. It's a work of art. Right. So there we go, guys. Take it down. Freeze your screen. Replay it. Take it down. Take a screenshot. If you got your tablets, you got your cell phones, whatever you got, take your phone. Take a screenshot. Master this. Master this. Okay, you got it. Let's go. You ready for the next one? Let's give you another general solution. Okay, so let's go here. Let's take that out. Let's go. I want you to give the general solution. Right, give the general solution. General solution. Let's make up one. Let's make up one. Let's say sine 2x, right? Plus cos x is equal to 0 for 5 marks. Give the general solution of that. Now, you know you got a double angle. Whenever you see a double angle, you want to expand it. So if that's your question in your exam, do you want to try it? You want to give it a go? Give it a go first. Let me get my breath back. Sine 2x plus cos x equals 0. You must give one general solution or two, right? Depending if you're breaking it up. Okay, so sine 2x is our double angle for sine. So what do we have? 2 sine x cos x plus cos x is equal to 0. I got two terms. What's my highest common factor? What's my HCF? What's my highest common factor? Cos x. So let's take out cos x from there. What am I left with? 2 sine x plus 1. Cos x divided by cos x is 1 is equal to 0. Grade 12s, I know you're following. So now, you got two factors equal to 0. Cos x equal to 0. Or 2 sine x plus 1 equals 0. So x will equal to shift cos 0. Now shift cos 0 is 90. So it's plus minus 90. You put plus minus plus k times 360, where k is an element of integers. That's your first solution. Or on this side here, you're going to have 2 sine x will equal to minus 1. Sine x will equal to minus 1 over 2. X will equal to shift sine minus a half. Go to your calculators. Go to your calculators. Let's search there. Let's go calculator FX991. There we go. There we go. So we're going to go shift sine negative half. And we're going to get minus 30 degrees plus k times 360, where k is an element of integers. They don't give you any restriction, so you can just leave your answer just like that. And there we go. That is your second general solution, or your second type of general solution. Okay, let's just see. Control room, how much time do we have left? Do I have time to do another one or two? I got 7 minutes left. I'm going to give you guys another one before we wrap up today's show. We will then do non-90 degree triangles in the next episode. So stay focused, stay tuned to the Qurtuba Online Show. Okay, so we've got this. You've taken it down, you've mastered it. Let's go to the next one. Now, they tell you that f of x is equal to sine x minus 45. They tell you that g of x is equal to cos 2x. Right. Find the points of intersection. Where is f of x equal to g of x? Find the points of intersection. Show algebraically the points of intersection where f of x is equal to g of x. Basically, give the general solution. Right, let's go. A question like this also 6 to 8 marks in your exam. This could also appear in your trig functions, where they can ask you to sketch f of x, they can ask you to sketch g of x, and you need to show algebraically the points of intersection of the two graphs. Now, very important, this all forms part of your content which you need to know. So if that's your question in your exam, let's see what your answer is. So obviously you're going to say sine x minus 45. Let's just go back there. Sine x, whoa, what's happening there? Sine x minus 45 is equal to cos 2x. Right, there we go. We've equated the two. Why did we equate the two? The point. What did they ask you? The point of intersection. Where is f of x equal to g of x? So there we go. F of x equal to g of x. So we equate the two. Now, how do we sort this? Right, always change the cos to sine. Change the cos to sine. So this is your answer. Step number 1. Yes, step number 2. You're going to go sine x minus 45 is equal to sine 90 minus 2x. Now you know cos 2x is sine 90. Sine 90 will change to cos, or cos will change to sine 90. Right, now you cancel the 2. The minute you cancel the 2, you split the 2 up. So you're going to have an answer for quadrant number 1 and you're going to have an answer for quadrant number 2. Quadrant number 2, because this is where sine is positive. Sine is positive in quadrant 1 and quadrant 2. Quadrant 1 is 0 degrees plus. Quadrant 2 is 180 degrees minus. Do this in the exam. Do this in pencil on the side. So your first solution, we're going to have x minus 45. There we go. X minus 45 is equal to 90 minus 2x plus k times 360, where k is an element of integers. Your second solution is x minus 45 is equal to 180 minus 90 minus 2x plus k times 360, where k is an element of integers. Right, let's solve for x now. X plus 2x, 3x. 90 plus 45, 135. Plus k times 360, where k is an element of integers. Let's solve for x. Divide by 3. 135 divided by 3 is 45 degrees. Plus k times 360 divided by 3 is 120, where k is an element of integers. There's your first solution, right? Your second solution now, let's solve it here. X minus 45 is equal to 180 minus 90, I'm multiplying in, plus 2x plus k times 360, where k is an element of integers. Control room, we all okay? We're solving now for x. X minus 2x. X minus 2x minus x. 180 minus 90 is 90. 90 plus 45 is 135. Plus k times 360, where k is an element of integers. We want x, so divide by negative right through. X is equal to minus 135 minus k times 360, where k is an element of integers. And there we go. Now if they gave you a restriction, let's say from minus 360 to plus 360, you all know what you do now. You now substitute all your integers for k. You put 0, 1, 2, minus 1, minus 2. Maybe you can even go up to 3 because it's 120. And whichever one falls within your restriction, those will be your possible solutions. And you do the same for the second one here. So this is not just where you end if they gave you a restriction. If they gave you a restriction, start substituting your integers. What are your integers? If they gave you a restriction, let's say they told you from negative, let's say from minus 360. Say the question now, I don't even have space here. Where can we write? Let's say they told you from minus 360 to plus 360. Say that was your restriction. So now you've got to put 0, 1, 2. You can even go up to 3. And then minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. Put all these integers for k. Get all your solutions and see which ones fall within your restriction. And then do the same here for k. You're going to put 0, 1, 2. Here we can just go up to 2 because it's 360. Minus 1, minus 2. And put in all these values for k. And see which are your possible solution. Whichever of your answers fall within your restriction, those will be your possible solutions. Okay guys, we've come to the end of the 3 segments of today's explosive, exciting Qurtuba Online show. Again, just to tell you, I'm your host, I'm your presenter, Mr. K from the QOA Institute here in South Africa. And I hope you guys are enjoying all our episodes. Please master all of this, and inshallah we pray to the Almighty Allah that Allah makes it easy for every single one of you watching the show to master all this content and fly through your paper. The only way you're going to fly through your paper is if you master this content, you memorize these as templates. When you see something in the exam, it looks familiar, you are able to unpack it. Make sure that your algebra is correct. From me, your host and presenter, and from everybody here at the Qurtuba Online Studios, we wish you Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
في ساحة للعلم كنا نلتقي والحب والإخلاص زاد قلوبنا.